welcome to the Medical Ancillary Sales Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Berg, joined as always by Vivian Hudson. Viv, do you want to make the announcement here? We got another special guest.
I know. And this is Robert's second time. So today we've got one of my favorite people on the show, which is Robert Castaneda. And I like Robert because he is a go-getter and he just goes out there and does it, which is why we have him on the show today. So welcome today, Robert.
Thank you, Vivian, Mike. Thank you for having me on again. It's an honor always.
So, Robert, I wanted to have you on because you've had success with a few programs where you're killing it, but the one that of late that you have just been really rocking is the Onychomycosis Test. And whatever you're telling doctors is effective because I think you have 7 practice registrations in just in the last week and a half. So something for you is working. So we wanted to just pick your brain here for the next 10 minutes and maybe help some other people around the country how. So first and foremost, I think everybody understands the broad strokes, the big picture on why this is important. But what I want to hear from you is how are you approaching these offices? Because I know a couple of these offices you brought in, you didn't have prior relationships where you're playing golf with these doctors. You're walking in cold and walking out with orders. What are you? Can you walk us through your approach as you're walking into a new clinic?
Absolutely. So that was a turning point for me for the onychomycosis test. That I knew that I had something unique, and it was something that doctors found it. Though it deals with fungus and a condition of the toes that's uncomfortable for a lot of people, but it's fresh for us as reps to go in with something that is not a very familiar area in other programs that they're approached with. And so what I do is there's this one particular doctor that I've always wanted to do business with him. He's in a very affluent part of town, great practice, very busy. He's open extra hours because he's just got that much volume. And I just can't get to him because he's taken. He's a very sought after physician. So I thought, here's a new program. I was inspired. I listened to the podcast, and I said, hey, I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to do this. So I went inside this particular doctor's office, and I said, there's this new test that allows for the proper diagnosis, accurate diagnosis of onychomycosis. And we have 29 different targets that are equally divided into yeast, mold, and fungus. And it accepts all types of insurances, federal and state, and the reimbursement's good. So would the doctor please have some time for me? Would you mind telling him this? And this is the office manager, because I'm sorry, I kind of quickly, the front desk person, very nice person, I usually greet her with the utmost respect and say hello, and would you mind if the doctor's not around, if I can speak to the office manager? So with that little one sentence that I give the office manager and my printout of the rec form, I let her take that to the doctor, and she came back and said, he'll see you. And I was floored because he never sees me for anything. He just says, leave the information and I'll get back to you. Well, I've been hearing that for quite some time now, but this happened to be an exception. So I go inside, and he's in his office as usual. And I sit down with him, and I say, sir, he goes, well, what's the difference between this and me? You know, what I usually do with this is, it's funny that you come in right now because I just had a case where Blue Cross sent the diagnosis back, or my diagnosis back, and so they want proof. Because I usually look at the toes, I can tell if it's onychomycosis. The toes badly discolored and formed, Robert. So, but in this case, they sent it back, and they said they want proof. So tell me what makes yours different. So I told them that, we have the ability for PCR and a portal, and it'll give you 72-hour response time on accurately diagnosing yeast, mold, or fungus. And then he said, well, what's the reimbursement like? And then I knew that I have him. So I said, sure, doctor, absolutely, great. For federal, you're looking at about $125, and for commercial, about $200. And it's always good to do bilateral because It gives us the ability to bill 1.5 times the procedure. So it's very good for you. And it comes with a kit with its own little shipper. Each one, I need a 2 millimeter near the fold by 3 millimeter little rectangle of the toe. And remember to always do bilateral when you can. And that's it, easy peasy. And I'll get you set up, and you'll have your kits here within days. And he said, okay, I'm in. So I had him sign. And you know, the way I do it is I have all the doctor's information, especially the doctors that I'm looking to target in advance. So when I present them with paperwork, it's just the signature. Here, just sign there, doc. I have all your other information, or your office manager can give it to me. I don't. There's no need to go into many things there. So that's how I start. And it was literally from the moment I walked into the clinic to the time he signed and said, yes, I'll do it with the new account, was about 6 minutes. It was the most amazing, the quickest close I've ever experienced in this industry to date. And he's now doing them. He's up and going, and it's great. I have this relationship now. I'm waiting to start showing him the benefits of these tests, the reimbursement benefits. At that point, I can start talking to him about other ancillary programs that we do, and it's great. It's fantastic. So it's happening.
Fabulous. And it's interesting that you raised that point about the doctor saying that Blue Cross Blue Shield said, well, we want proof, because I just happened to be reading an article yesterday that actually said that up to 50% of nail problems are not related to fungal infections. It could be disfigurement or lichen planus or psoriasis or one of those other conditions. So what visibly could look like a fungal infection may not actually, in fact, be that. And given the expense and the side effects associated with the medications and the length of time that people need to be on it, it's important that they do an accurate diagnosis. And it is a pretty common problem, I'll have to say. When I worked in my pharmacy, we used to have these lovely counter mats, and it would have the fungal toenail on it. And the amount of people said, wow, that's me. What do I need to do? And it is such a common problem out there. So you do have a captive audience. So well done on that. So far you've brought in a number of accounts, and I'm sure that we're going to see that just continue to increase. So far, what's the doctor's uptake? Have you managed to get the doctors sending in their tests yet? Doing the nail biopsies?
They're starting to send. I haven't. We're awaiting our first results or so, but I think today they started sending today. That's how new. My accounts just started last week, but I can tell you that I've also had a lot of success with thinking a little bit outside the box. And the last thing you just mentioned, Vivian, was a really good point. I see toenail fungus as I live in San Antonio. We're in flip-flop, central here. We wear our flip-flop, our sandals. That's what we like to wear because it's hot down here. It is really hot down here. So I see this as a wellness, as an appearance thing. So I would say half of my clients are wellness med spas. And it's not something that they would advertise like, in their front lobby, but it's definitely a menu item. Hey, and it's a one question. Doctor, add this one question to your intake form, patient intake form. Are you uncomfortable about your appearance of your toenails? If so, yes, ask the doctor when you're in with him or her, because we have a fantastic way of helping you with that. And let me tell you, it clicks with them. They get it. It's like a light bulb goes off in their head, and they're like,
But
I want to add that to my menu.
Just to clarify, in those med spas, they're not typically billing the patient's insurance, though. You're just adding this on as a cash service, I guess, at that point?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, no, and it's got to be, of course, medical director, and all that stuff. Yes. But like, for example, I have a doctor she's a board-certified pathologist. She's a slide reader, a professional one, and she's very affluent. She sold her practice, her pathology lab, her portion of it, and opened up a med spa. But now she's doing some commercial private pay insurance, a lot of cash pay, but she gets it. she gets this program, and she's like, yes, Robert, this is wellness. This is something I'd like to offer my patients because it makes them happy to have nice, pretty toenails.
Absolutely. And it does happen in fingernails as well. So particularly with women using fake nails now and nail salons, that it's quite easy for that infection to bed into a fingernail, which it gets a bit hard to wear gloves all the time, particularly I'm sure in San Antonio. So it's definitely something people do become very self-conscious of and end up not wanting to wear flip-flops. Or open-toe shoes, because it does cause a significant amount of embarrassment. So, and the other thing with the problem is that if it's allowed to continue, it does spread to other nails. It penetrates deep into the nail bed and can cause like pain for the patient, which can impact the way they walk even. So, it's quite a significant problem, and it's a global problem, definitely.
Very common, Vivian, very common, and there is awareness. There's doctor and patient and staff awareness. I've been getting really good positive response from this test. So I'm very excited. I'll keep you guys informed.
I think what you have going for you, a couple things. One, nobody is out there selling this program either. That is really what we have going for us. It'd be you would not be having the success you had if you had 15 other reps out there and there were 20 labs out there who were offering the exact same test. But this... I
know, so don't air this yet, okay? Let me first mark my territory.
We'll delay this. I'll post this one in December 2019. Don't worry about it. That's
perfect.
But this is the time to stake your claim. I mean, I saw it in the compounding world, for instance, years ago when that market started heating up. There were people who got in early and staked their claim. And I know one of the companies that I was contracted with, I knew the president of the company. They were from Los Angeles, so I went up there. I visited with him several times, and I remember him showing me his printout for the 1099s that he had paid out the year before. And they have a couple hundred people working for them. And what was amazing was there was a lot of guys who were making between $10,000 and $40,000. But then there was about 10% of the people that were making $800,000, $1.3 million, $1.8 million, numbers way up there. And what the owner of the company had told me was, he said, those were the guys who got in early and basically cornered the market. So everyone else is fending for scraps. So this is the perfect time to get in. And then the other thing that, I can definitely see this with the success you've had, when you're in the ancillary space especially, once you get that first account or two to say yes, and you realize that, hey, this is something that doctors are really going to want to see and really benefit from, plus nobody else out there is selling it, that gives you the confidence to go out there. And I'm sure you're at the point, Robert, where, you inspired me to go out in the field yesterday. I'm going out there again today to line up some of my accounts to be doing it. But I'm going in with that confidence of, I expect to get a yes. And
I'm telling you, Mike, you're right. Go, please.
Yeah, no, that's it. I'll let you expand on that.
I agree with you. I mean, it's the most effective program where I get such a positive response. Not something like, we'll think about it. It's like, I get it. This is good. This is a feel-good program. I'm going to make my patients feel good. And it's not something where, Doc, aren't you tired of saying, here, try this, and if it doesn't work, we'll come back, we'll try something else, and kind of thing. You get to accurately diagnose this thing and really make a difference in the patient's well-being, mental well-being. A lot of that's mental, the way it looks. And yes, it's a lot of discomfort, Vivian, absolutely. But this program, everywhere I've been, has welcomed me. And it's been such, like I said, one of the doctors that I've been trying to get for such a long time, he's now my client. And he's since we're talking industry talk here, he's a whale. He's he's one of these big producers. So I'm excited to be there. I'm honored to be there. I always consider it a privilege and an honor to be part of a clinic, a provider's clinic, and everyone should, because if we had that, we'd have better quality reps out there, and our business would thrive a lot faster, I think.
Well said. Well, that's a good note to end on here. So, Robert, thank you again for getting on, and wish you continued success with this program and as well as everything else.
Thank you, Mike, and thank you, Vivian. I'll be in touch, buddies.
Thanks,
All right.
Robert. Go get him.